afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final session of the 2026 National Character and Leadership Symposium. My name is Cadet Second Class Lorianne Martin, and I am excited to share that I will be the cadet in charge of next year's symposium. Thank you. The NCLS team would like to take one final opportunity to express our thanks to the generous partners who made this event possible. Please hold your applause until all are recognized. The United States Air Force Academy, Class of 1959. Our flagship sponsor, the Class of 1973. The Class of 1974. The Class of 1977. The Class of 1983. The Class of 1993, the Class of 2004, the Association of Graduates, the Air Force Academy Foundation, the Falcon Foundation, the Muse Family Foundation, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Earl A. Enix, Class of 1977, and Mrs. Candy Enix, and other generous donors. Before we begin the challenge portion of our session, we are honored to share the citation for the 2025 Sullenberger Award for Courage, bestowed by the Air Force Academy and the Association of Graduates. The namesake of the award, Ambassador Chesley Sully Sullenberger, Class of 1973, and the award recipient cannot join us today, so the award will be formally presented at the Long Blue Line Awards in July. Please direct your attention to the screens for a brief video presentation.
I'm CB Sully Sullenberger, Class of 1973. I'm honored to introduce the Sullenberger Award for Courage, bestowed by the Academy and the Association of Graduates.
The Sullenberger Award for Courage is not given out yearly, only when warranted. It recognizes graduates who demonstrate a singular significant achievement, exemplary performance during a singular act, or a series of events in a short duration of time.
This award honors those who take action and meet the moment. We never know if or when we might be suddenly faced with an ultimate challenge, just as I was in 2009.
The core values we develop at the Academy, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, together with training, prepare us for the unexpected challenges in life. We never know when we will be met with adversity. However, when we rise to the occasion, we can significantly improve our mission's outcome.
My message to our award recipients is this: it's just human nature sometimes to wonder if you really deserve an award like this. Well, let me tell you what the answer is. You already are good enough. What you did, what your actions were, merit this award.
At this time, I will read a summary of the award citation. Lieutenant Colonel William Skate Parks, a 2007 graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy, distinguished himself through courageous service as commander, 480th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron, while engaged in combat operations. In this role, Lieutenant Colonel Parks led 12 F-16s and 56 airmen through an 8-month deployment supporting Operations Prosperity Guardian, Inherent Resolve, Spartan Shield, and Rough Rider. On the night of 27 March 2025, as part of Operation Rough Rider, Lieutenant Colonel Parks commanded a package of 21 strike aircraft while simultaneously leading 4 F-16s conducting suppression of enemy air defenses. He pressed into enemy territory as the first fighter across the lines that evening. With a critical need to protect high-value strike assets, he intentionally placed himself in threat of range of a combat air defense zone protecting the enemy's capital to distract the adversary and employed an AGM-88 high-speed anti-radiation missile against an enemy surface-to-air missile site. Lieutenant Colonel Parks' heroic decision suppressed the threat and ensured the crippling of enemy ballistic missile production facilities and paralyzed enemy leadership. The consequence of his deliberate action was a barrage of precisely targeted air defense missiles and anti-aircraft artillery aimed towards his F-16 flight. For 15 agonizing minutes, enemy missiles detonated mere feet from his aircraft. Lieutenant Colonel Parks led his flight in the defeat of 6 guided missile attacks and coordinated an emergency rendezvous with tankers while dodging another barrage of guided anti-aircraft artillery. He received a Silver Star for his gallantry and courage in combat. He also led a suppression of enemy air defense formation into hostile territory only 1 day after his near miss, during which he successfully downed a hostile one-way attack UAS as it targeted U.S. naval forces in the Red Sea. Lieutenant Colonel Parks is credited with 6 aerial victories, protecting the lives of over 5,000 sailors aboard the Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group as they came under repeated enemy attacks from the air. He earned a Bronze Star for his combat leadership. Additionally, his efforts readied 480th Fighter Squadron to support the massively successful Operation Midnight Hammer Strikes in Iran. Lieutenant Colonel Parks' leadership and bravery reflect great credit to the long blue line of the Air Force Academy and contributes a modern chapter to the institution's air power history. Please join me in applauding the 2025 Sullenberger Award for Courage recipient, Lieutenant Colonel William Parks. At this time, please direct your attention to the screens, followed by words from our Air Force Academy Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant John C. Alsvig.
Sign say,
Police don't survive!
So as a young staff sergeant, I was just another aircraft maintainer. My entire purpose, my entire existence revolved around panels and switches, engines and gears, uplocks and downlocks, high locks and high torques, rivets, turnbuckles, check valves, checklists, fan blades, and getting my airmen ready for the next sortie to turn. Now it was a job, and it was a damn good job. And then came a Tuesday morning in September. After 9/11, it quit being a job. I looked at those engines, my aircraft, my airmen differently. I realized something that Tuesday morning, that every wrench we turned, every checklist we signed, every failure, every success, everything, every late night on the flight line was to prepare us for combat. Nothing in my entire existence was by accident. So let's talk about building an engine for a second, specifically a single turbine blade. You don't just find one laying around. You can't carve it out of a piece of metal. You don't find them on Amazon, good ones at least anyway. It starts with the raw materials. It must be forged. A composition of very specific elements put together, chosen to make a very defined and refined alloy, chosen for its strength. Then it is heated to thousands of degrees over and over again, and then pressed under immense pressure until it forms a perfect crystal structure. Why? because that blade is going to spend its entire existence spinning at over 10,000 RPM in a storm of fire and pressure and wind. And just as that blade is engineered for a very specific purpose, to create thrust, to generate power, your presence here today in this auditorium is not by accident. Your being here, you being here in this room, each cadet, you are being engineered for a higher purpose. But cadets, you guys are not the engineers. Not just yet. You are the blade, shaped under pressure and forged by the fire. But think about your journey just to get here. Nothing in your life was by accident. You weren't just chosen randomly. There wasn't a lottery. Your raw materials as Americans, character, intellect, physical ability, were measured, assessed, and chosen specifically. And from the moment you entered the United States Air Force Academy, you entered the forge. The heat is military discipline. The pressure is the academic rigor, and the wind is the athletic demands. But every crucible, every setback, every hard conversation that you've had to endure while you've been here has been burning away the impurities within you, aligning your entire being for the pressures in your life to come. Your presence here today is not by accident. It is proof that every one of you can withstand the forge. But inside our forge, inside our academy, inside every one of you is a battle that's brewing every day. And on one side of that battle are the habits that erode leaders: envy, cynicism, regret, greed, arrogance, resentment, deception, and ego. But on the other side are the traits that build those leaders of character and quality, like courage, integrity, honor, humility, service, empathy, trust, truth, and excellence. The outcome of that battle is not decided in a single dramatic event, but by the countless choices you make, especially when no one is around. There will be a day that you will understand the engine, that you realize why the forge was necessary. Everyone in this room, everyone on different stages of your journey plays a critical role. None of you are here by accident. Now, for the cadets in the auditorium, I can see some cadets and non-cadets. Cadets in the auditorium, on your feet. This next part, just tune everything out, is between me and you. My ask to you is to continue your journey. Forge a version of yourself that is better than it was when you started. Take what we've given to you over the last 2 days and refine it and shape it and bend it. Burn those impurities within you and around you away. Forge a version of yourself that is ready to fight and win our nation's wars with overwhelming ferocity, perfection, and excellence. What I don't know is what tomorrow's going to bring, and maybe a week from now. But what I do know is when you commission into our nation's service, I know that the lieutenant you are going to be is exactly what our nation needs to secure freedom for generations to come. As a sergeant, I am always going to be on your wing. But as a citizen, do not let us down. Thank you for raising your hand to be part of the 1% who have chosen to serve and sacrifice. Thank you for stepping forward and saying, "Send me," as our nation stares at an uncertain future and geopolitical chaos. Your challenge is simple. It's lead. Lead with courage through combat. Lead with honor under pressure. Lead when it's hard. Lead when it's lonely. Lead when the cost is high, because one day the stakes will be high. The risk will be life and death, and our entire nation is going to look to you. Cadets, lead like the future of our nation depends on it, because it does. That is your challenge. And I know in my heart you are up for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Command Chief Alsvig, for your inspirational words to close out our symposium. It is now my privilege to present our challenge video, which contains highlights from NCLS 2026.
Over the past few days, we've examined and explored the theme of courage to lead in the profession of arms and the nature of war as it influences the journey to become a leader of character and quality. We heard life-changing and impactful stories from service members and role models. We heard from leaders who had their moral courage put to the test, such as an F-16 pilot who was prepared to sacrifice his life on 9/11 to protect others, a Thunderbird commander who challenged the status quo to create a stronger culture for the whole team, and a Bronze Star recipient who overcame brain surgery, inspiring courageous leadership. We explored how leaders' physical courage was tested by challenging crucible-like experiences, from the final US commander in Afghanistan, who provided decisive leadership, to a decorated airman who defended against a relentless 3-hour insurgent attack in Jalalabad, to a defender protecting his team while repelling an unbaiting insurgent attack and enduring 4 gunshot wounds, to a senior master sergeant who exemplifies physical courage and resilience as the first 100% disabled airman to re-enlist. We heard accounts of tough-mindedness, tireless motivation, and unceasing vigilance from courageous military leaders, embodying the warrior spirit and representing the best of the Air Force and Space Force. We delved into the courage to endure through leaders who have been held captive during the Vietnam War, and how ethics and resilience, faith and communication push them to survive. We met with those sharing the courage to transcend barriers and lead in modern domains. The UH-1N Huey pilot who leads critical global flying missions, and an F-22 pilot and astronaut whose most recent mission took her to space. We closed this symposium with new views of the world around us, and new courage we can find in ourselves as warfighters who win, leaders of character and quality, and critical thinkers who adapt, motivated and transformed by this extraordinary experience. During NCLS, we broadened our perspectives, put ourselves in others' shoes, and contemplated the tough challenges that each of us will face as leaders, demonstrating courage in the profession of arms. We understand that courageous leaders lead through adversity, demonstrate unwavering focus, engage in the relentless pursuit of justice, execute purposeful action, advocate for teamwork, and display the moral and physical courage required to endure any challenge that comes their way. As NCLS 2026 comes to a close, we reflect with gratitude on the profound conversations and future engagements that will challenge our way of thinking and continue the integration of this learning into our cadet coursework. We invite you to join us again next year for NCLS 2027 as we continue to inspire the leaders of character and quality our profession demands. If you are inspired by our speakers this year and have someone in mind who would be an impactful speaker for next year's symposium, visit the NCLS website and nominate a speaker through the speaker nomination button or scan this QR code. Thank you again for attending our symposium and for your commitment to growth as a leader of character. We look forward to seeing you again next year.
It's inspiring to see footage of all we've experienced over the past few days. I'd like to take a moment to thank the amazing team of faculty, staff, and cadets who worked together to make this a grand success. If you directly supported NCLS 2026, will you please stand and be recognized? And to our audience, we are so glad that you were able to join us this year, that we celebrate America's 250th anniversary. We hope you will continue to have impactful conversations surrounding what you learned and experienced at NCLS. At this time, we invite you to capture this QR code to nominate a speaker for future NCLS events. You can also access the speaker nomination form on the NCLS app and the NCLS website.